So hey guys, and welcome to the Random Watch Dude channel. Thanks for joining me for another video. I'm just a random dude who likes to talk about watches and plot his watch journey. And today I'm going to talk to you about a very special watch. I'm also going to talk to you about micro brands, because this very special watch that I want to show you today is a new watch in my collection, and it is a micro brand watch. So look, I'll be really honest with you guys. I've never actually been particularly into micro brands. They've never really appealed to me. And that's for no other reason than I've really struggled over the years in my watch collecting journey to become kind of emotionally attached to any of the micro brand watches that I've seen advertised on the internet, and some of them that I've had in my hand, and watch YouTube videos that I've watched about the various micro brands. And there are some video channels out there that, as you know, make a very good living out of pumping micro brands. But I've watched a few of these videos, and I've looked at some of these micro brand watches, and they've never quite done it for me. However, a little while ago I discovered a micro watch brand, a German micro watch brand called Damasko. Then my whole view on micro brands and micro brand watches changed considerably. So I discovered Damasko during the COVID outbreak. Actually, it was in 2020, and I think it was about March or April 2020 when New Zealand went into COVID lockdown, full lockdown, stay at home. And of course by then I was a fully certified watch addict by then anyway. And of course, like a lot of you guys out there, I spent an awful lot of time trying to plot what I was going to do with this disposable income that I was suddenly not able to spend because I couldn't go to the mall every weekend and blow it on something. And I didn't have the opportunity to buy a new car or clothes or anything like that. So I decided, hey, what a great time to buy a watch. I mean, what a great excuse to buy another watch. So the interesting thing about COVID lockdown was, of course, you know, we were all kind of being brainwashed into being really sterile, weren't we? Everything was sterile during COVID. We were all talking about, you know, we were never going to shake hands again. Do you remember that? Everybody had to pump fists or do the old elbow knock with each other, or you know, namaste. You know, the era of shaking hands was over during COVID, wasn't it? And that didn't last long, of course, once we all came out of lockdown. But you know, the whole feeling of sterility was, you know, was kind of in your face all the time. And that's actually how I actually decided to give Damasko a go, because when I was looking through the watch websites, and I spend a lot of time trawling on the Nomon Watches website, like a lot of you guys probably do. They're a Singapore-based watch supplier. Now they're an authorized dealer. They deliver all over the world by DHL. I can get a watch here from Nomon Watches in 3 or 4 days. It's remarkable. Now they're a Damasko authorized dealer, and I ordered my first ever Damasko watch. Now since then I've been through 3 or 4 Damasko watches, and very recently I just bought my latest Damasko watch, which I'm gonna go to a short unboxing of now and show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we are with the Damasko box, guys. This is a new watch to me, just arrived in the last few weeks. I didn't make a video on this watch instantly because I wanted to take some time to just get used to this watch and just enjoy it. But I am going to make 2 or 3 videos on this watch because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about Damasko. I'm not going to be able to do it all in one video, so forgive me. I'm just going to rush into the unboxing because I know that you guys are desperate to see what's inside this box. And before I do, actually, quick wrist watch check. Today I'm wearing my Omega, the real Omega Seamaster Professional 300. This is the 2254.5, also known as the Peter Blake. That's its moniker that it's inherited. It's who was, if you don't know who Peter Blake was, he was actually a famous New Zealand America's Cup sailor who once wore this watch on behalf of Omega. So I'm just going to put this watch to one side for now, because of course you want to see what this watch looks like on the wrist. Now, Damasko, who are they? So Conrad Damasko, owner of the company, started the business back in the 1990s, and they're a specialist small parts machine manufacturer. So they basically started off as a machine shop, milling, turning, you name it, and they became a very very important supplier to Zinn. Now, the reason they became an important supplier to Zinn, who, as you know, are a very well-known and well-regarded German watch manufacturer, is because Damasko, as well as being a very good small parts manufacturer, they're also very, very strong in the world of metallurgy. And of course, they know their metals better than most people out there. And if you do understand Zinn watches and what Zinn is all about, you'll know that Zinn use the types of metals that are very different to a lot of the other watch manufacturers nowadays that might use 316L, or if they're feeling daring, they might jump into titanium or 904L. But Damasko and Zinn are famously using what is often referred to as a submarine steel, or a martensitic steel, which is magnetic, but it's also heat treatable, and so you can heat these metals up and make them incredibly hard. Now, on that note, so now I've sold you a martensitic watch, martensitic steel watch. You want to see what it looks like, don't you? So here we are. Here we are. Let me just get all the gubbins out of the way, because you don't want to see that. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But here we have, guys, here we have the Damasko DK37. So this watch, as you can see, is on its own integrated bracelet. Is made of martensitic steel. So martensitic steel is basically a steel which has been hardened to a phenomenal rate of hardness, guys. These things are virtually scratch resistant, and I know you know that's not a term that I would use easily, and I hate scratches as much as you guys, but this type of steel, because of the way it's been hardened and quenched, has got an incredibly high level of hardness. For a watch, it's more than you need, absolutely more than you need. And as you can see, the whole case, the whole thing is bead blasted. So there's not a single polished surface on this watch anywhere. The other incredible thing about this particular model, which I really like, is the fact that it has a full lume dial. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you that at the end of the video, what this full lume dial looks like. But here we are. This is a phenomenal watch. This is a micro brand watch, guys, and I'll just take it off. I'll just take it off here so you can see it in a bit more detail. This is a micro brand watch, and let me just move the hands out of the way so that you can see, if it wasn't obvious already, that this is also a date watch. So when you've got a watch collection which is full of no dates, like some of my watches, like the Submariner and the Tudor Pelagos FXD, amongst one or two others, it's actually really nice every now and then to have a watch which has the full day date functionality, isn't it? So this one has a day date functionality. But look at that, what a gorgeous, sterile looking, but also at the same time subtly pretty looking watch. And pretty also because of the dimensions. These dimensions, guys, are almost perfect for a watch. 40mm in diameter, 40mm diameter case size, with a 20mm lug width. I mean, that's pretty much the Goldilocks zone, isn't it, for watches these days? And because it has a flat sapphire crystal and a flat solid case back, it's actually rather thin as well. And as you can see, it has drilled lugs, so nice and easy to do strap changes. This is starting to look like a really cool micro brand watch, isn't it? But there's more to come, guys. There's more to come with this bracelet. This bracelet is epic. So what do we mean by epic? What does an epic bracelet look like? Well, for one thing, guys, when a watch manufacturer gives you a bracelet, for me, it needs to sit absolutely as tight as a duck's arse up against the case itself. No play at all. Now, there is absolutely zero play between this end link here and the case. It is absolutely like it's welded in. And that, to me, is a sign of high quality machining, when those end links just fit so snugly that you think, I'm never going to get that out. So that's quality. But this of course is a martensitic steel hardened metal bracelet, and joining every single one of these links is a grade 5 titanium screw. Isn't that crazy? Every single one of those screws is grade 5 titanium. They've all been machined by Damasko. This is all done in-house. All done in-house. This bracelet as well. Now, a lot of micro-brand watch manufacturers or watch suppliers, whatever you want to call them, watch assemblers, which is what they mostly are. They're just watch assemblers, aren't they? Because they're ordering in generic parts from all over the world and assembling them somewhere. Everything that you see here is manufactured or machined at some point by Damasko in-house, including the lovely slotted screws that go into the links of this bracelet. So how does it work? Look at this. So we have what looks like just a standard butterfly clasp. Now, as you know, as I've said in previous videos, I'm not a great fan of butterfly clasps, apart from this one. This one's crazy, and look at these two little eyeballs either side that are staring at you. Now, these two little things remind me of the spider that stares at you. I think it's a jumping spider with the huge eyes that both face forward. It just reminds me of the jumping spider eyes. These two. Now, these are actually ball bearings, ceramic ball bearings, and they slot into these holes here. Okay, and you're thinking, well, so what? A couple of bearings that go into those holes there. That's how you obviously keep the bracelet closed. But the snappiness of this bracelet, the snappiness of this clasp, guys, is epic. And I'll just see if it comes out on the mic now. Absolutely, without question, guys, the most satisfying, and it's not even a click. I know us watch obsessives get pretty obsessed, don't we, about the sounds of the clicks of our clasp, but this isn't even a click, this is a snap. And then you pop it open, so it's just friction basically that's holding it closed. And it's got a real great feeling of quality. Just moving on to the case back, of course. DK37. This is serial number DK37.0070. So I was very fortunate, guys. You can see I got the 007 serial number with this, and you can see all this lovely writing here. This is all laser etched here, made in Germany, Edelstahl, 60 HRC, nickel free. Don't know what Stoss means, probably steel or something like that. I don't speak German, by the way, so I'm sorry that I can't translate this for you, but maybe if there are any German video watchers of this video, maybe you can enlighten us. Sapphire glass, I can see that. 100 meters of water resistance there. Yeah, look, I think, no, sorry, yes it is, it's 100 meters of water resistance, 10 bar, there you go. So it's got enough water resistance for you not to have to worry about getting the movement wet when you're washing your hands. And trust me, it happens, even with the modern watches. Coming to the side here, you've got an absolutely beautiful crown. Now, the other thing that I just wanted to show you about this crown, this is special as well. Damasko have patented an awful lot of engineering in this watch. They also manufacture their own movements. Now, isn't that crazy? So they've manufactured their own case, they've manufactured their own bracelet, even the screws that go into the bracelet are manufactured by them. They've inserted these lovely little spider eyes into here, which helps keep the bracelet closed. All made by them, all manufactured by them in Barbing in Germany. But not only that, guys, is they manufacture their own crowns, but there's an awful lot of patented, specially patented methods that they use. Even with the crown, they've got their own patented crown sealing system, and you're not going to be able to get a feel for this crown on this video, but the feedback on this crown is beautiful. There is a lovely tension to winding this watch, a really nice tension. You can feel every tooth rotating on the gear here, and it's got a nice delicate whining sound to it as you twist it, which I can even hear from here. I can even hear it whilst I'm talking over this video. It's got a really nice sense of feedback to it, and as you watch obsessives will know, feedback is critical, isn't it, on a watch? The really, really well made, beautiful watches have got feedback. So it's obviously a threaded crown. Push it in, screw it back in. It's got a nice amount of thread. It's got 2 or 3 turns on the crown thread as well. Its own patented crown sealing system. And the movement itself, is unbelievably is mainly manufactured by Damasko, again in-house in their machine shop in Barbing in Germany. They even make their own movements. It's crazy, isn't it, that a micro brand watch company, which is as small as they are, and they probably only manufacture several hundred watches a year, this being one of them, that they actually manufacture even their own movements. And this movement has got the A26-3 variant in it, which is based off of an ETA 2824, because Damasko used to use the ETA 2824 as their base movement, and they still do. They still do on some of their models. The DS range of Damaskos, which is kind of their entry level, and I've had a couple of those, they still use the ETA 2824 movement, but the movement that's in this watch is manufactured in-house by Damasko based on the 2824, and they have done a lot, guys. They've improved an awful lot on that movement. It's a better, well, they're advertising it as a better movement than the ETA 2824, because they've taken that as the base and they've modified it significantly, and they now machine pretty much exclusively all of their own parts. So the power reserve on this is probably the only slight downside to the movement. The power reserve on this is 42 hours, and I have tested it and it stopped after 43. So that's a little bit on the short side these days. You know, most watches you're kind of looking at 50, 60, 70, 80 hours as a standard. So 42 hours is a bit on the short side. But let's be honest, guys, you're talking about something very, very unique with this watch. It's very unusual. And how can I finish this very quick unboxing review without doing a quick wrist shot? So snap, snap. There you go. 7.2 inch wrist, 40mm diameter case size. The bracelet, as you can see, is non-tapering. Let me just hold the camera up. Let's do it like this. It's non-tapering bracelet, 20mm, right the way around. There you go. How much more legible can you get on a watch than that? How much more legible? I don't think you get much more legible than that. Now, to finish this video, guys, I'm going to take you off to a loom shot. And before we go to the loom shot, I'm going to give you a word of warning. Put your sunglasses on, guys. Put your sunglasses on.